Okay guys, thank you for jumping on. That was my knee clicking, by the way, which is a bit of an unusual sound. Anyway, guys, just let me know if you can hear me alright. I am live from the broom cupboard, aka my office. So yeah, it's not one of the best offices in the world, I'll be honest with you, but it does the job. The cleaner has just come in as well, so she's like banging about making loads of noise, so don't worry, it isn't getting ransacked while I'm sat here doing the live for you. So guys, I'm just letting the live build up and let people jump on. Let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know what has been working for you so far this year. I'll tell you a little bit about what I've been doing, but it'd be really cool to hear from you guys, and let's hear from some of you. What's working for you already this year? We're like 76 or 77 days in already to 2018. Are you guys on track for where you want to be? Or are you struggling a little bit? I mean, either way is fine, because the great thing is we can do something about it. And more importantly, you can do something about it. You don't have to be stuck in the same situation if you're willing to change. So tonight's mainly about you guys asking me questions, and you know, please don't ask any crazy ones, but within reason, I'm willing to pretty much answer anything. So yeah, if we're going to kick it off in about 5 minutes. Thanks for letting us know where you're coming in from. Yeah, sunny Lancashire. I'm the same, Tracy. It's absolutely beautiful here. But yeah, what's working for me so far? I'm just really happy that I'm on track, really consistent. I think the biggest thing that I've taken into 2018, and what I said, if you remember my very first live of the year, was I wanted to make this a year of commitment. A year of commitment to myself, a year of commitment to my goals, and make sure that 2018 I do exactly what I said I was going to do, because a lot of the other years I've started off really well, and then I've kind of drop down a gear a little bit. I still work my butt off every single year, to be fair. I'm not beating myself up about it, but I think I've been a little bit like that at the beginning of the year, and then dropped and plateaued a little bit. So I'm really excited about this year, because so far I've got some real traction, some real momentum, not just in business terms, but in mindset, in fitness. I'm probably the fittest I have been in a long time, doing the CrossFit Open, which I would highly recommend if you've never tried CrossFit before. You know what? You need to give it a whirl, because it's really changed not only my mindset in terms of training, but also changed the way that I look at the results that I'm getting. So rather than just looking at it from an aesthetic point of view, which is what I used to do when I was training all the time, was really be focused on how I looked. Now I'm not really that bothered about that. I'm more focused on, are my times improving? Am I getting stronger? Is my engine getting better? So yeah, it's more about fitness for me. And then all the other, I guess it's what I always talk about, like stay really process driven, and the results will look after themselves. So I'm really loving that at the minute. I think there are 2 more workouts left to do of the Open this year, and then I'm going to try. I did like the basic, like the baby level. I did the start-up level, but which is fine, because you know, sometimes you've just got to start from where you stand. And a lot of the time people don't do stuff because they're scared of where they're going to be, or they're scared of what it's going to show them. Well, you know what? If you never do anything, then you're never going to get any better. So the way I've looked at it is, you know what? This is my starting point. This is my starter gauge. I'll always be able to go back to this. And all I can do now is improve. And I'm doing better this year than I was last year, because I didn't even do it last year. So that's the way I look at this sort of stuff. So guys, open it up. If you've got any questions, just start throwing them out there. It can be about anything to do with business. If you can, please keep it generic. I don't need to know about company names or anything like that, or positions or any of that kind of stuff. But I would love to have some questions. And there's the first one from Faith. So, have you had any lows in business? If so, what happened and how did you overcome it? Yeah, the lows that I've had in business are, I've had quite a few. I've had quite a few lows in business. When I was a personal trainer, I had some lows. One of the biggest mistakes that I made looking back was I thought the customers that I had were going to be my customers forever, if that makes sense. So I think when you're new to business, you think what you've got is going to stay with you forever, and you think you've done the job. So when I was building my business, I started to I was going crazy in the gym. I would literally speak to everybody. We used to call it walking the floor. So I would be in the gym and I would be chatting to every single person that was in the gym if I could. My aim was to be the friendliest guy in the gym, and whether people worked with me or not, I wanted to know that I was a nice guy, I was approachable, and I was willing to help anybody for free, to be honest with you. And I had that mindset, that attitude. And what I remember is I was always in the gym like hustling, like speaking to everybody, and a lot of the other personal trainers would stand by the desk that's in the gym. You might notice this about your own gym and the PTs that are in there. They would literally, that was their comfort zone. They would hang out there hoping that somebody would come and ask them for a session or whatever, ask them for some advice. Well, when I built up my client base to about 30 customers, 30 clients a week, I got comfortable. And they always say, right, the comfort zone is the danger zone. So I got comfortable with where I was at, with exactly what I was earning. And I say this all the time now, if you're not growing, you are dying. It's as simple as that. There's no in between. Your business is either going up or it's falling down. Now, you might not see that and it might not show up for a while, but I promise you, eventually it will. So I grew my business to a point where it was at an amazing level and I was really, really content. But what I did is I stopped doing the basics. And it's the same in fitness. If you might get an amazing body, but then if you start eating bad food, after a while, that will catch up with you. If you start reducing the amount of training that you do, if you drop doing the basics, that will eventually catch up with you. So the exact same thing happened with me in my business. So I stopped doing the basics. I really believe that we're in control of absolutely everything that happens to us. So, you know, it was on me that it happened. It wasn't anybody else's fault. And it was weird. It was almost a catalyst because one person cancelled and I was like, whoa. It was like being winded. I was like, why somebody cancelled? I was like, shit, this hurts. And then somebody else cancelled and then somebody signed up. It was a funny story. Someone signed up, went for a walk, came back and then cancelled. I hadn't even trained them and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like everybody's just cancelling and like I don't get this. What is going on? And it wasn't that it was instant. It was what Jim Rohn talks about all the time. Like failure is or lack of success is a build-up of things over time. Just as success is a compounding of things over time. Yeah, you're all laughing about it. It wasn't funny for me. I was like, what do you mean? You've just been for a walk. Like, have you just spent all your money in Primark or something? Like, what's going on? 1 minute you want training, now you've been. Maybe she'd just been to the pie shop or something. I don't know. But so I look at that and I think, you know what? That was a dark time for me in business. And I actually went on holiday. And I came back, I had 10 days in Malta, and I came back from that holiday and even more clients had cancelled. So my income had halved. And someone even said to me, and this was I think you've got to look at all this stuff, like your highs and lows in business. You've got to look at it in terms of what you can control. So if you can see a positive outcome from it or a really good lesson, then you can see it as a positive. It's a win for you because if it hadn't have happened, you would never have grown from it. So someone said to me, you shouldn't have gone on holiday because I've lost all motivation now. And I was like, wow, you shouldn't have gone on holiday. I've lost all motivation now. So I was like, okay, so basically you just think that like you own me. So that was like a big kind of thing in my mindset where I thought, some of these guys don't really appreciate that I've got a life as well. They don't really appreciate what I'm doing, you know. And to say that I shouldn't have gone on holiday, I don't whether they were joking or not, I don't know. But for me, it was a big eye opener. So what changed? And it's ironic that this live is it's pretty spooky actually. I'm I'm balancing this camera on some books. There you go, you can see it. And the book that is on top is the book that actually totally changed my mindset. This wasn't planned, by the way. So this is a book called Who Moved My Cheese? Ironically, my mum gave it to me. I was a bit of a moody teenager at home, but my mum, like we all were, I guess. And my mum gave me that book when I was about 13, and I never ever read it. She was like, read it, but like, who listens to what the mum says? By the way, if there are teenagers watching this, please listen to your mum. They're always right, to a certain extent. But my mum gave me that book when I was 13, and I never read it. And I remember just seeing this book, and for whatever reason, I picked it up while I was going through this cancellation drama. And it's an amazing book, and it talks about what I say, like, just take the emotion out of everything. If you just extract all the emotion, all I had to really do was do what I did right at the beginning. But what I was doing is I was getting emotional. I was going, oh my God, someone's cancelled. I can't believe it. Someone didn't sign up. I was positive. Like, I was letting emotion get in the way. I was attaching feeling to a decision, if that makes sense. I was attaching feelings to a decision that I had no control over. Because the truth is, people might have been cancelling because, you know, the husband had just lost the job, or they'd maybe been made redundant, or there was stuff going on that they needed to save up for. Maybe they didn't even, you know, maybe they just didn't want the results anymore. Maybe they realised that it wasn't for them and they wanted to go and do something else. I was reading into it all too much, and that's probably my biggest lesson is, don't read into stuff. Like, don't waste time reading into shit that you can't control. Just get on and do what you need to do to fill your diary. That was all I had to do. When I extracted all the emotion out of it, well, what's the answer? Get back into that gym, start walking the floor again, start saying hello to everybody, start helping people with the weights, helping people with the stretches, whatever it is that they need. Go out there and give them value for free. And then eventually I will build my client base up. And it was all about work ethic. I didn't let getting a no make me slow down, right? It's the whole thing. Like, if you're running a race and you fall over, you can get up and start walking, or you can get up and start sprinting. It's one or the other. You have the choice to do it. So that's one low in the business. Other lows in my business, I guess again, it's based around rejection, which a lot of this stuff is, or other people's decisions that you're not in control of. And people decided to leave my business a while ago, a few years ago. And at the first time it happened, I was a little bit taken back by it, I'll be honest. And I guess you can take it personally, like the personal training side of it. Like, I could have took it personally, but because I'd had that scenario before, I didn't. So I guess the lesson and the learning from that was like, okay, this is what they're doing it because of their reasons. And that was totally fine, by the way. I've no judgment on it. Everybody's entitled to do what they want to do or what they think is right for them and their family. And I'm always like, you know what? I'm always here to help. I'm always here to you can come back if you want to. It was totally fine. Just like I said to my clients, like, if my clients cancelled me, I didn't go, okay, I hope you get fat forever. See you later. Like, I would never ever say that, right? So it's the same if somebody walks out and says, you know what, I've decided that I want to change. It's cool. Go do it. And if it doesn't work out, guess what? You know what? You've got a chance to come back. So those were learnings and disappointments, I guess, because we find ourselves reading into situations, and with social media now, it's even worse. So my advice to a lot of people is, don't get comparisonitis, don't dive into other people's journeys, because you end up, as soon as you attach emotion to it, you've lost, right? As soon as you attach emotion to somebody else's decision, you have completely lost, because you're distracted. So either way, if you're stalking somebody on Facebook, seeing if they're doing well or doing bad, either way, it doesn't matter, because you're not doing what you should be doing. So those were some big lessons for me, and something that I've definitely come back from, and I'm more confident than ever before in where I'm going, not only with myself, but where I'm going with my business. And why is that? Because I know I'm in total control of everything. Everything that happens in my life, I've got sole control over. So if I want it to be better, guess what? I have to get better. It's as simple as that. So, great question, Faith. Let me scroll down and see if there are any more questions. Okay, cool. Any advice for someone who is very part-time most of the week? It feels that it starts very slow. Yeah, I mean, you know what you've got to do? You've got to set your expectations, and you have to give yourself the best time to be successful. So set yourself up for success. If you've only got a short amount of time, you need to maximize what you're doing within that time when it in terms of getting results. Whether it's in training, whether it's in business, it doesn't really matter. If you've only got a short amount of time, you have to say, right, I've got 40 minutes to do this. So I can't have any distractions. Like if the baby starts crying or something, it's going to distract me. So if you know your baby's up, then I would probably say, you know, do a little bit, but you want to make sure that you're building your business in the best time for you. So maybe it's better to say, you know what, while the kids are awake, I'm going to put my phone down for a bit. I'm going to be present with the kids. I'm going to spend my time there. And then as soon as they're asleep, bam, it's go time. Phone's on and away you go. You start building. I would also try and find extra time within the day. Like, again, it always comes down to choices. So you may have an hour for dinner. You've got an hour to go and sit in the canteen and gossip with all the other girls. Or you can go and sit in your car and you can build your business. I would always say as well, like the one thing that we've all got is 24 hours in a day. So where can you save minutes? Where can you save time? So if you really want to build a business and you're spending 2 hours a week making food prep for your meal, maybe it's easier to go, you know what? I'm gonna go and get some salads from the local salad bar, so it's already done for me. I order it already. I walk in, I order it, I buy it, and I'm done. Because sometimes you think you're saving money by doing the jobs yourself, but actually you're reducing the amount of time that you've got to have a bigger impact. It's a little bit like washing your car. Like I took my car to the car wash yesterday. They blitzed it inside and out in 15 minutes. If I had to do that, probably would have took me 2 days, to be fair. I mean, I'd have made a mess of it. It'd have been a disaster, to be honest. I'd have probably got soaked through and it would have been a disaster, right? So I can go and take it to the experts that are amazing at car washing, that have all the system, have all the setup. I can pay them £20 to clean it inside and out in 15 minutes. I know I can make more than £20 within 15 minutes myself, if that makes sense. Or because I know that it would take me an hour to clean my car, then it makes more sense to pay somebody to do it for 15 quid. And then I get to use that time that I've saved to build my business. So I would have a look at your diary, number one, and I'd start to see where it is that you can scrape some time back. I would also look at it and say, okay, can I maximize my time? Can I make sure that there's no distractions? Let your family know that this is the time that you are going to be building, so you're going to need a bit of peace and quiet. You're not going to be watching Celebrity Big Brother with the rest of the family anymore. You're going to give that shit up so you can change yours and your family's life. The other part as well is it isn't starting slow for you. Don't get it twisted. Like, this isn't starting slow. It's getting off the ground. It's moving. It's moving. It's moving. It's moving. It's moving. So what you've got to remember is you're attaching your emotion to it. You don't know it's starting slow. You're probably just comparing yourself to somebody that you can't compare yourself to, because we can't compare ourselves to anybody else because we've all got different journeys. So your business is where it is right now. You need to work out a way of getting it to gain more momentum. But at the beginning, you're learning, you're starting off, you're doing it part-time, and you're going to make some mistakes, which is cool, which you learn from, and you're also going to find ways of getting it better. So I would be really, really confident that you can build this thing and get it moving. And I use the analogy of a plane a lot. Like, before you get on an aeroplane, the plane is in the terminal, like parked up. The girls are hoovering it, vacuuming it. The guys are cleaning it. There's people fueling it up. So the plane is actually in the terminal for like probably an hour before you're even let on, right? Especially if you're going long distance, like 8 or 9 hours or something. And if you've ever flown transatlantic, you'll know you sit on the plane for about 45 minutes before you even move. It's called preparation phase, right? So a lot of the time, people are like, my business ain't going anywhere, my business ain't going anywhere. Well, you know what? You're just in preparation phase. You're getting ready to be towed over onto the runway, right? And then what happens is a massive plane gets towed by a teeny weeny little micro machine car, right? And it gets towed really, really slowly for another 10 minutes. So you're moving, but you're moving really, really slow. You're not even off the ground yet, but you sat on your plane, you're like, yay, we're going on holiday, and you're getting towed by this little micro machine, and then eventually you wait on the runway, right? So this is maybe where you're at the beginning of your business. Then the engines start firing up, like, woof, probably better noise than that, otherwise you probably wouldn't want to get on the plane, right? So your engines start firing up, and then you start to get speed, you can feel it, the momentum, and then you get like the thrusters kick in, and boosh, up you go, into the sky, and away you are. So you're probably in that phase. You need to kind of see it where you're at in your business and say, you know what, to be fair, I'm in preparation phase. I ain't actually on the runway yet. And then once I get on the runway, I'm going to start fueling this thing. Once you start fueling it, you start getting more momentum, you start working harder and harder and getting smarter and smarter and getting better and better. And then your plane gets up and you cruise, right? Eventually you go 10,000 feet, 20,000 feet, 30,000 feet, 38,000 feet cruising altitude, and away you go. When I look at my business now, I don't work like I used to work. When I was doing this part-time, I was starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I would be staying up as late as I possibly could to build my business. Now, I get up when I want and I tweak my business. It's a little bit different. I'm still in building mode, but it's a lot easier than it was back then when it was the grind, when it was that hustle, when it was spinning plates. I used to go to network breakfasts at 6 o'clock in the morning to meet new people. Then I used to go and open my gym. I used to personal train people. I was like friggin' Superman. I used to teach at the college across the road. I used to quickly rip off my personal training gear. Not like that, but I used to get changed, put my tracksuit on for college teaching, leg it over to college, teach for 2 hours, then leg it back to my gym, and then personal train, then run boot camps, then in between that I'd be messaging people for my online business, and then I'd go and do an event or go and speak on a live or whatever. Like everything that I was doing was taking me towards my goal. If it was going to slow me down, I wouldn't do it. I'd say no. I can't do that. I've got more important things to do. We've only got a certain amount of time, guys, 24 hours in a day. You need to recover, and you need to be thinking smart. You need to be asking yourself, is what I'm doing taking me towards my goal, or is it slowing me down? All right, cool. Let me move on. Okay, when bringing new people in and they don't have the same enthusiasm and you're messaging and calling them but no reply, at what point would you just give up trying them? Let me just see the rest of this. For some reason it isn't letting me show the rest of the question. So I guess this relates to people that don't want it as much as you. What you've got to remember is people don't see what you see. They've only read one page of the book. You've read maybe 4 or 5 chapters of the book. So people don't always see what you see, guys. So that's what you have to remember. We get really frustrated that they're not excited about this part of the book, when the truth is they haven't even read the other 2 chapters. So I always say keep the door open, keep inviting, let people know that you're there for them when you need them. If they don't reply to your messages, that's fine, that's just their stuff. Again, going back to the first question, like, it's a similar thing. Don't get emotional about someone not getting back to you. Like, oh, they signed up and now they don't want to do it. I've seen it all. People sign up and then they quit. People, I mean, I've had it today. A girl told me, I mean, this is ridiculous, but this is the world that we live in. A guy was going to join up, and his missus told him that she wouldn't like him to do it. So he said, no, I'm not doing it. I mean, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not. I was that close to saying something that would probably get this Facebook Live deleted, so I'm not going to say anything. But if you can think about what I would probably say, then you probably get it. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to move on now because I'm trying to get the thing that I want to say out without actually saying it. So yeah, so you just not, you've got to remember that you don't know what's going on. I've had people join up, be really, really excited, and then they've had some terrible news, and it's taken them off track. I've had people join up and think it was going to be really easy. They've got a no, and it's crushed them, and they can't do it. So the way I see it is just keep the door open, be pleasantly persistent with people that join. And sometimes as well, when you're new, some of the things that you do, you have to realise that you might end up, you're not the best mentor that you are now, if that makes sense. Like if someone joins my organisation now, or someone decides to come and work with me now, I am the best mentor I have ever been in my 7 years or 10 years in fitness, nutrition, online, business. I'm the best I've ever been today. Like, you get me at your best now. Like, I feel sorry for the guys that got me when I first started because I didn't have a clue. So you're getting me at my best. And you know what? If you joined tomorrow or a year later, I'm getting better and better and better because I'm always striving to improve. That's the aim of the game. Like, I don't know everything. I'm just trying to learn as I go and help other people for free from falling into the same holes that I fell into. So doing lives like this, I ain't getting anything out of it. I'm just trying to help you guys not fall into the same traps as me. And you know what? If you and the beautiful thing about this is you don't even know whether you would have fallen in or not because you missed it, right? So I guess that the thing with new team members starting is a little bit of it is if you're just getting going, you might not be as excited as you would be if things really started to kick in for you. So I would always say try and give them another chance. Like voice note them rather than send them a message so they can hear the excitement in your voice. I could have gave up on some of the people in my team a long time ago, but our job is to see things in people that they don't see in ourselves. My mentor Alex saw something in me that I didn't see myself. I don't know what he saw, but he saw something. And what he saw, he just kind of opened up, and he just kept opening it and opening and open. Like he extracted it, he stretched it, and that's what we do. We see a little something in somebody, and our job is to is almost open that up for them so they can start to feel it and they can start to see it themselves. And they're like, oh my God, I can do this. Because remember, most people go through life never having a mentor, never having anybody that believed in them. Geez, I remember my teacher calling me a little worm at school, right? So how's that meant to build my confidence? Do you know what I mean? So when we finally get somebody that comes into our life, or we realise that there's somebody out there that believes in us more than we believe in ourselves, sometimes we don't even believe it. We're like, what? I'm used to being put down all the time. I'm used to being stuck in a box. And now there's somebody that's believing in me. Why is that happening? What's their motive? What's the motive for that? Because we start to question it because we've never had it before. So what you've got to do is just keep giving them that motivation, giving them that giving them that inspiration, exposing their inner, whatever it is, their inner genius, seeing what their genius is, seeing it in them before they see it themselves, and then start to open it up so they start to feel it themselves and expose it to themselves. And then eventually, once you get that feeling where you believe in yourself, then you are completely completely at peace, and you can do whatever you want, because it doesn't fucking matter what anybody says, because you know 100% that you can do it and you're doing the right thing for you. So let me move on to sorry guys, respect for all these comments, by the way. Okay, I get a lot of "I'll get back to you, but a few days later when I follow up they've changed their minds. What's the best way to turn it around?" Do you know what? That's all part of the deal. I mean, some people are, they're not getting back to you. This is the funny thing. They're actually getting back to themselves. They don't really get it. Because if somebody offers me an opportunity that I think is going to change my life, and I'm that excited about it, then I'm going to get into it. I'm going to look at it and I'm going to get on it straight away. So the saying that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person is so true. So I would just keep going through the numbers on that one. A couple of things that you could do is kind of get a commitment from them. And I always ask people what they like about it. This is my kind of, or what resonated with you. Like if you ask somebody, you could send them a video on anything and you say, or information on something, what did you like about it? Nothing. Ah, right, okay. So that probably means that you're not going to do it, right? Yeah? Yeah, you're not going to do it, are you? Yeah, deleted and blocked. All right. So what I'm trying to say is when you ask somebody what they like about it, they can't say anything bad. They can only say nothing. So you want a good yes or a good no. So if you then say, what did you like about it? And they say the free time, the money, the fun, the friendships, you can then kind of shine your light on that even more and say, yeah, you're right, the friendships that I've built from this business are incredible, or the money's amazing, or, you know, it's allowed me to pay for my kids' Christmas presents, or the time freedom, you know, I've gone to part-time in my job. Whatever it is, whatever they buzz off, you have to amplify that and show more stuff. Oh, you love such a body story, let me tag you in it, because it's really coming from where you come from. So that works really, really well. I would also say get a commitment from them when they're gonna, like, when you can get back to them. Is it okay to message you tomorrow and get your feedback? Yeah? Is it okay to, yeah, okay, it's okay to message. So you can go straight in rather than waiting for them. Tell them when you're going to get back to them for them to get back to you, if that makes sense. The other thing I would say is send like info that people can read or get a look at and get a feel for very, very quickly. If you send somebody an hour-long video or a 45-minute presentation and they click it on and they go, oh, wow, 45 minutes. No one's got like 4 minutes these days. So they need information that's straight in there, like this is it. Like this, like they can read it and go, okay, that sounds interesting. Then you might send them a little bit more. The first thing you've got to do is get their attention and find out what the pain point is and provide a solution to that straight away. So they go, oh, that's interesting. I want a little bit more. Okay, next one. Okay, what's the one thing you've achieved in your life you're most proud of? I don't know. It's a good question. Faith, it's there's a lot of things. I think for me, realizing my potential. I guess I went through life a lot knowing that I could give more and I could do more and I could be more, but I always felt that I was letting myself down because I never really had the guts to go for it. And I think the biggest thing I would say is taking ownership of my own life and taking ownership of my decisions. Like there's so many people that they don't, and I want to do a live on this next week, but I'm going to just go into it now. They don't own the decisions. Like we get born into this world and we're told what, like from a baby, we don't have any choices. We're like, I don't even like those nappies, those diapers. I don't want to wear them, right? So why are you making me put them on? So that's as a baby. People are making decisions for us. Then we go to a school, a primary school that we didn't choose. Then we get put into a religion that we didn't choose, right? So we're having all our decisions taken, and this is just life, right? It is what it is. So we make all these decisions, and then, we have all these decisions made for us without any real kind of choice on the matter, and then we get to a point where somebody then goes, right, you're out on your own now, see you later. I've been making decisions for you all your life. Now you're 16, 17, 18. You're on your own, kid. That's it. So then we make bad decisions because we've never made decisions before. Right? And then we feel bad because we've made bad decisions, and there's always someone there to say, oh, you shouldn't have done that. So this is why when you show somebody something new, they start to question themselves, because the majority of their lives they've had decisions made for them, and then they make bad decisions, a few bad decisions, and then what happens is they don't become confident in their own decision-making skills, and there's always, some gobby mate that tells them they've done it wrong, or a critical parent there to kind of shut them down. So then when you decide that you're going to do something new, and a friend says, oh, you're not going to do that, are you? You kind of think, no, I'm not going to do that, actually. Yeah, you're right, I'm not going to do that. So the amount of people that let other people run their decisions is a joke. Like your man, he was going to join, and his girlfriend's talked him out of it. Like, come on, get a grip of things, right? So for me, the proudest moment really is getting ownership of my own decisions. Like, I'm in total control, total ownership. Whether it goes right or whether it goes wrong, it is down to me. And I realise that now. And I also know that I'm a good decision maker. So that's probably my proudest thing in a weird kind of way. Achievements and things like that, the stuff that comes and goes is great, but it isn't really anything. I mean, it's just a car, it's just a house, it's just a whatever. It doesn't really matter. But that ownership within yourself is so powerful, because then you can do anything, and it doesn't really matter what anyone thinks or what anyone says, because you've owned that decision and you're doing it for the right reasons. The other thing I would say, proud moments, is being a part of the world where finding out that there's a way to do something good for yourself, but also do good for others. Like a lot of things out there, it's all about being selfish. You do it what we're doing here tonight. Whether you've shared this live, whether you've commented, whether you've just liked it. Like, this is selfless stuff. This is self-interest in the form of, like, we're learning stuff, we're debating stuff, we're going through things, but the selflessness of just throwing it out there and letting other people see it and letting other people get value from it. So that's a really good thing that I'm part of, because there's a lot of bad things out there that you could be a part of, and this is something that's adding value to other people's lives. So that's a pretty cool thing. All right, guys, let me see. I'm going to have to skip through a few of these guys. Okay, someone's just asked, Matt's just asked, suggestions, audios, podcasts, books. Okay, this is The 4-Year Career. This is an amazing book. Get the Hero Edition. I'm actually featured in this one. Let me find it. There you go. Looking a bit smarter in there than I am here. That's a really good book. It just talks about, and it relates to whether you're in network marketing or not. There's a lot of personal development stuff in there. Another great book if you're interested in nutrition and that kind of thing, I would say The Primal Blueprint by Mark Sissons is an amazing book. The 9-Day Liver Detox is a really, really good book. Again, because I'm a big believer, like, you can't be successful in business if your health and fitness is terrible and you're not doing anything about it. Like, if your health and fitness is terrible and you're working towards something better, then that's fine. I'm all for it. I'll put my arm around you. I'll help you. I'll congratulate you. I'll pat you on the back. Like, go for it. Like, nothing's stopping you. But if you're trying to be successful in business and you're sabotaging yourself by feeding it bad food, like everything's energy. So if you're feeding it dead food, then, you know, you're going to feel dead. If you're smoking, if you're, you know, I'm not here to be critical or judge or anything like that, but I'm kind of tell you the lessons that I've learned. Like, I got into a phase where I was drinking far too much. Guess what? My productivity massively dropped. I put weight on. My head was the size of a frigging melon, and the same colour as one. So I've been on both sides. I've been really lean, really healthy, and into all that stuff, and that's where I'm going again. But I've also kind of seen the dark side where I stopped doing the basics, like I said right at the beginning. So I let myself go a little bit, and it's easy to do. So there's no judgment there. You know, I got to a point where I was drinking far too much. I was lying in bed too long. I was unproductive, but I was still productive, if that makes sense, because I knew I could do what I was doing, even though I wasn't at my peak. But then obviously when you get to your peak, you go to the next level. So a big thing for me is working on your body, which in turn helps with your brain, which in turn helps with your business. The three key pillars that I would say to success are business, body, brain, and that's what I talk a lot about in the Dream Chasers community. Shout out to all the Dream Chasers, by the way, that are on this. The whole idea is to get the three things aligned: business, body, brain, and you can literally achieve anything. But a really good book on that to let you guys know is called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill's the guy that wrote he wrote Think and Grow Rich, and he did another amazing book that they had to kind of hide when he wrote it, because it was at the time when there was a lot of religious stuff going on, and because he questioned certain parts of religion, they couldn't release the book back then. But now, it's on YouTube, he actually interviews the devil, and the devil talks about how he kind of suppresses people and he takes them off track. It's all fictitious. Like, it isn't a religious book or anything like that. But one of the things that the devil talks about is smoking and drinking. So he says the easiest way out, and it's a really cool thing. He says, how do you take, the guy's interviewing the devil, and he says, how do you get people to sabotage themselves? And he says, well, I have tools for that. Like, I can help people sabotage themselves. So smoking, drinking, and drugs are my three biggest ones that I know will help sabotage people, because they're not in control of their emotions, and then they self-sabotage, and then in the morning they feel dreadful about it, right? So we've all been there when we're hungover and we're like, oh my God, what did I say? What did I do? That kind of thing. Then you start feeling anxious about it. And then you're not productive because you're thinking about something else. So it's an amazing, amazing book called Outwitting the Devil. You can get the audio on YouTube as well of the interview, but I would actually get the book and study it. I don't read a lot of books. I listen to most of them, but this was one that I listened to and read. So reading it and taking notes on it and stuff like that, and just understanding it, because it makes so much sense. Like, nobody pours booze into our body apart from us. And then we wake up the next day and we feel dreadful, right? And then we don't get, you get up an hour later. So we can't even measure what that getting up an hour later does. Or then you're on the call to a potential and you're not as passionate as you normally would be because you're tired and run down and hungover. So that person might not join up. Do you know what I'm saying? So you just never, everything's got a ripple effect. You just never ever know. I'm not saying I'll never drink again. I'm like 75, 76 days or something completely sober. I'm not saying I won't ever drink again, but I will definitely have more control over what I'm doing. And feeding the brain and the body the good stuff is key. So it's a great question. This is another really good book by the guy that wrote Who Moved My Cheese. It's called The Present. And I'm not going to tell you what it's about because it's a present, and you'll get it if you read it. But it is an amazing, amazing book. Quick read and you're done with that one. So that's what I would say in books. Things that Jim Rohn, Building Your Network Marketing Business, anything like Jim Rohn is the guy for me. That anyone who's out there like doing this kind of stuff takes a lot of Jim's things. And you know what? he's just the guru for me when it comes to this sort of stuff. Everything that he says is amazing. So there's a lot of Jim Rohn stuff that I listen to, Tony Robbins as well. So yeah, there's loads of good stuff out there, guys. Just the great thing now with like social media and YouTube and all that, like it knows what you like, so it'll throw more stuff at you. If you really get passionate about watching this stuff, the thing is with the TV, we're not in control of what we hear. So I had the radio on today, which is something that I very rarely do. And I was in a good mood, and then I was like, it came on the news, dun-dun, like, Russians are killing people in England, poisoning them or something like that. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, I was in my bubble, I was in a really good bubble, and then something has just taken me out of that bubble, completely out of my control. Well, it was my control because I turned the radio off. So you've just got to remember that the TV is controlling you, whereas I'm not saying that YouTube doesn't put adverts in front of you and stuff like that, and Facebook doesn't, but you've got a bit more control over it. If you're looking at personal development stuff, the chances are that it's going to send you more personal development stuff to watch. So I love the fact that we have a bit more control over that. Okay, someone's just asked, can somebody build a business can someone build a business on a slower pace? Continually, momentum is slow and steady for almost a year. I mean, there's the book, The 4-Year Career. Like, you don't go to university and get a degree after a year. You know, you don't go to a university and get a degree after 4 weeks or 4 months. This is a business. This is something that you have to stick at over and over and over and over again. I'm 72 days training really consistently, and I'm looking like, where are the results? Where are the results? Where are the results? The results are there, but the results that I want aren't going to come in 72 days. So you've got to remember that most people overestimate what they want to achieve in a year, and they underestimate what they can achieve in 5 years. Slow and steady is better than fast and quick. And I'm going to leave it there because some of you might want to debate that one. But in business, so slow and steady is actually a lot of the time better than fast and quick, because you know what? These things are about longevity. This is about you growing. This is about you learning. This is about you developing and getting where you want to be over time. And then it's stable. So I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't say you're going slow. If you think it's slow, you're right. But I don't think it is. I think you've got momentum there. You might need to work a little bit smarter. Question everything that you do. Could I do it better? Could I do it, could I do it a little bit smarter? Could I put a bit more energy into it? That kind of thing, and you'll be good. But remember, it's play the long game. Consistency beats intensity. All right, guys, we're going to do 2 more. Okay, Sherry, did you hire a coach back in the beginning of your direct sales days? No, I didn't, but I joined a mentorship and a coaching group when I was starting my own boot camps. Here's the thing that I think we tend to waste, and this is why 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years, because most people have the idea. The idea is one thing, right? But then they don't know what to do with the rest of the stuff. So they make expensive mistakes and they run out of capital really, really quick. So the business ends up shutting down. This was what happened with me. And our ego gets in the way. So I was like, I don't need any help. I can do it on my own. I'll do it on my own. I don't need anyone there. Like, I'll do it myself. And I had that idea, and you know what? I made loads of mistakes, loads of expensive mistakes, bought things that I didn't need to buy, tried things that didn't work, when the truth is, somebody's already got the system. They're willing to teach it to you. You just got to pay for it, right? So having a coach and having someone that keeps you accountable is a really, really good thing. In direct sales or in network marketing, your upline is that coach. So, you don't always have to pay for this stuff, and a lot of it is on the internet for free. But I sometimes think paying for it, like my first mentoring thing that I ever did cost me £4,000 for the year. And you know what? I could have paid it up front to get a reduced fee, but I decided to pay £400 a month every single month because I didn't want to pay it up front and then forget about it like most people did. I wanted the reminder every single month, oh, another 400's gone out. So I've got to work, I've got to work, I've got to work. You know what? That was the best money that I've ever spent because it made me do the work. It made me commit. You know, sometimes if it's for free, then you take it for granted. Whereas if you've paid for it, then you're going to use it and it's going to keep you accountable because you've put the money there. So definitely advocate getting a coach, being a part of something, being a part of a community, being a part of... That's why I created Dream Chasers, was because I wanted to bring people together that had a common goal, but I also wanted to give a system and be a mentor for those sort of people. So that was the whole idea behind it. I get messages all the time, email, WhatsApp, Facebook, like, can you help me, can you help me, can you help me? And it's too difficult to help people individually. So I don't do one-to-one coaching or anything like that, but helping people on a group basis is something that I love. I love the idea of that. I'm really passionate about it. Okay, let me just scroll through these. I'm going to do one more question, guys. I'm going to just scroll right down to the bottom because the comments have been insane tonight. Really, really appreciate it. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to find... another question. Sorry guys. Okay, final question. What are your 3 biggest tips for breaking through to the next promotion when stuck? All right, so this was where my epiphany came, really. I've been stuck for 2 years as well, and I just thought, you know what? First job is look in the mirror. Tip number 1 is look in the mirror and ask yourself, have you been doing enough? Have you been giving it everything? And see where you're really at with a dose of honesty, like, right, that's why I'm where I'm at. Because when I was stuck, to be honest with you, I've been playing half-heartedly. I've been probably giving it 50% here, 20% there, 70% there. It was just like that. It was up and down. It was up. Never any consistency whatsoever. So the first thing to do is look in the mirror and be really, really honest with where you're at. The second thing to do is set yourself a target of consistency. So most people do a 90-day game plan, which makes total sense because you go 90 days, 90 days, 90 days, 90 days, and there's your year. So 4 90-day game plans and you've got your year. So I did 90 days and I said to myself that I was going to cut out my kryptonite, whatever that was going to be. That was alcohol, actually. It was partying, but for some people it might not be that. And I was going to focus 100% for 90 days on getting that next promotion. Now, here's the thing. Most people stop a 90-day game plan after 10 days. Most people get to day 50 and they don't see any results and they get distracted. The breakthrough came at round about day 73. So imagine if I'd have stopped at day 70. Imagine if I hadn't have carried on. So the third tip really is, once you've set your target, do it. Don't let anything get in your way. Like, you've almost got to see it that it's a life and death moment. Like, tell yourself a story that if I don't do this, like, my business is over. Like, it's that serious. Like, if I don't make this happen, and if I don't stick at it for 90 days minimum, and see where you're at 90 days, and if you're not there, I guarantee you'll be very, very close. And then you have that also, that thing that you have in your mind. The other tip is this. Actually, I'm going to do it until it happens. Until it happens. But 90 days is just a good way of saying, you know what, I'm going to commit and see what I've got something to measure. In 90 days, that's enough time to build momentum and measure it. Whereas going all out for like 20 days isn't long enough. Going all out for 50 days isn't long enough. Going all out for 70 days wouldn't be long enough. But 73 days, ping. Then you get a little bit of momentum. You're on the final lap of the track. And then you just go follow through in 90 odd days, you're there. And I guarantee you'll have created momentum in your business that'll take you through to the breakthrough. So number one, honesty, look in the mirror. Number two, set yourself a target of how long you're going to go for. Knowing in the back of your mind that you're going to do it until it happens, but you need to measure something. Number three, do what you said you were going to do in the first place. Do what you said you were going to do. Instead, like, there's so many people out there that just talk and quit. Stop. Get distracted. Don't be that person. Be the person that does it. Be the one of the 5% that actually does what they say they're going to do. The amount of times I hear people, and you see it on Facebook, starting my detox today. 3 days later, they're uploading a picture of cake, right? I'm giving up alcohol. I'm telling the world, I'm telling all my Facebook. 2 days later, they're having a selfie with a glass of wine, right? So don't say you're going to do something if you're not going to do it. Stay your goals, state them, commit, and follow through. That's the one thing. Like, this is what I said at the beginning. This is the year of commitment for me, committing to my goals, to myself, committing to being the best version I can be, and committing to helping other people do the exact same thing. If you have got value, guys, please share this with any of your friends, family, whether they're in your business or not. It doesn't really matter. I thank you so much for jumping on. The Dream Chasers community closes tonight. If you want to get 7 days free access, get yourself in there tonight at 12 o'clock. It is shut. That is it. Don't come knocking on my virtual door on Facebook saying, can I get access? Because you won't. So if you don't get signed into it, it's 7 days for free. And you get to download the Success Journal as well. So I'm literally giving it to you on a plate. So get in there, guys. Get excited. Let's commit to these goals. And I will see you next week when I'm going to be talking about taking ownership of your decisions. Getting that stuff back. All right. Nice one. Thank you for jumping on. Thanks for the love. See you later.